Dear Michael, another week. I'm writing at the kitchen table after a long day in our main infusion center. My shoes are still on, hair still smelling faintly like hospital air. My hands feel washed out from sanitizer and soap and touching so many lives in one shift. I want to use this week's letter to explain what I do since moving to this infusion center. People hear oncology nurse and often imagine sadness, bravery, maybe medicine dripping quietly through tubing. That is part of it. But what I actually see is more than that. I see people arrive scared and trying not to show it. I see wives pretending to be calm for husbands. Girlfriends holding water bottles, blankets, backpacks, and every possible comfort item that fits into a chemo bag. I see grown men sit down for a first infusion and suddenly look stone-faced. I see people joke because they are afraid. I see people ask practical questions because the bigger questions are too hard to say out loud. I hang hydration and chemo. I check labs. I review orders. I watch blood pressure, breathing, skin color, posture, voice, eyes. I listen for the tiny change in someone's sentence that means something is wrong before the monitor says so. I explain what might happen. I explain what to report right away. I explain it again when exhaustion and fear have erased the first explanation. And sometimes everything changes in seconds. This week, a man came in for his very first paclitaxel infusion. He also had 2 other chemo, part of what we call TIP, the strongest of the strong. He wasn't dramatic, just a little nervous, like so many are. His girlfriend was with him. You could tell they were being very steady for each other. I walked over to introduce myself and get to know them a little before we hooked his PICC line to the pump. I was looking at his chart, just confirming things as I read through them quietly. I said, "Okay, let's see about your surgeries," and then I stopped. He looked up and very calmly said, "Yes, partial and full penectomies." His eyes stayed on me, looking for my reaction. I nodded so he knew I understood, and at the same time, I didn't alert the patients on the other side of the curtains next to him. I knew from the recent date of his full penectomy that his cancer must be moving faster than surgery could catch it. He counted on surgical steel, but now he was looking for hope in our toxic cocktail, the one we nicknamed PTX. I assured him we were going to do everything we could for him and for his girlfriend. The oncology pharmacist came in with his PTX, and 2 of us started getting him ready. Almost as soon as the Taxol started dripping, he leaned forward and looked like he swallowed something. He was having a reaction, like we had told him was possible. That kind of moment changes the room immediately. 1 second, you are easing someone into treatment. The next second, your whole body knows before your thoughts catch up. Something is wrong. His heart senses it is being poisoned. In less than 20 seconds, he was surrounded by our team. Nurses from nearby chairs moved in. 1 of us stopped the infusion. 1 got vitals. 1 was at the mobile medication cart. 1 was talking directly to him, keeping him with us, keeping him oriented, letting him know he was going to be okay. Our lead PA was there almost instantly. No chaos, no wasted motion. Just a trained team locking in. That's one of the things I wish people understood about infusion nursing. When it matters, everybody moves. It's like a well-rehearsed dance. Not loudly, not theatrically, but fast, with purpose, with memory in the hands. He was very still, watching and listening and responding to us. Of course he was. His girlfriend looked on as we all took directions from our PA. The couple were not left alone for even a moment as we worked together, and the PA explained what we were doing in a calm, reassuring way. We stabilized him. Then came the next part people do not see. the decision process after the reaction, the reassessment, the calls, the judgment, the conversation with his oncologist, the question of whether the day is over, whether the plan changes, whether the treatment can safely continue, and how. A new plan was worked out with his oncologist, additional medications and a slower ramp rate on his infusion pump. More time, more caution, slower steps, close watching. And then we restarted his chemo, and he settled back into his big chair while the PA and I stayed to talk with the couple and answer their questions. That matters to me. In a healthcare system that is built for people getting sick and for insurance companies and drug manufacturers, the one place we still provide intensive, personal care is in oncology. It reminds me of the humanitarian aid you talked about during your last deployment. Nursing in the infusion center is not only about pumping chemo and stopping dangerous reactions. It is also about helping people get back onto the road they came in to walk, if it can be done safely. His day changed completely after that. What should have been a routine infusion became an all-day trial of nerves and endurance. 9 hours in that big chair. 9 hours of medications, observation, restarts, waiting, checking, rechecking, reassurance, careful watching. 9 hours of his body being asked to trust us again. 9 hours of his girlfriend staying beside him, hour after hour, because sometimes love looks like not leaving the chair next to someone. By the end of the night, they were the last ones out the door. It was December. Dark early, cold outside, that strange, tired quiet that settles over a clinic after everyone else is gone. I watched them leave together and felt that particular kind of ache this job brings. Not because the day had gone badly in the end. In some ways, it had gone well. He reacted, and the team answered. He was stabilized. A new plan was made. Treatment continued. He got through it. But because I had seen exactly what it cost, the look in his eyes, the reset, the long hours, and knowing he had 2 more days of this before he would be home recovering from the ordeal. The trust it takes to stay in the chair after your body has already told you it is afraid of toxins being delivered through a PICC line directly to your heart. And his heart was sensitive enough to know we were trying to poison him with chemo. That is what I carry home some nights. Patients weigh not just their illness, not just the medicine, but the private, painful, personal, and family cost of continuing. People think courage is always dramatic, even cinematic. In infusion, it usually isn't. Sometimes courage is reporting a symptom quickly. Sometimes it is letting us help. Sometimes it is agreeing to restart. Sometimes it is sitting there at hour 9, exhausted, with the person you love beside you, and deciding you are still going forward. I see that every week. People come from many miles away to trust us and trust the system, in search of a little second chance hope. I see people lose hair, appetite, certainty, sleep, and still show up. I see people bring blankets from home. I see them bring chargers, hard candy that they share with us, books they cannot focus on, and I hope their trust in us grows so that they keep returning. I see sons drive fathers. I see daughters ask all the questions because their mothers are too overwhelmed. I see marriages under strain. I see tenderness get stronger. I see fear make some people quiet and others talk more than they ever have in their lives. I see what the body can endure. I see what love can endure. And I see how treatments become cumulative, each one adding to the impact of the others. And maybe that is why I think of you so much, because your work and mine are different, but not entirely different. We both stand near fear. We both learn to read a room quickly. We both know that training matters most when time gets short. We both know what it means to be calm for someone else when they cannot yet be calm for themselves. There are days I come home proud. There are days I come home sad. Most days I come home with both. Tonight I keep seeing that man's face, that first reaction, that skilled circle of nurses and our lead PA around him, and then the long road from that moment to the end of the night. And I keep thinking this: people survive hard things partly because medicine exists, partly because teams are trained, and partly because of how strong they are at their core. That girlfriend stayed, those nurses stayed, that PA stayed, and he stayed. Just like he stayed when he was told about amputations that might save his life, and they fell short. There are many stories like this one, and becoming a small part of them is why I stay. So for this week, that is what I wanted to tell you. Not a polished version, forgive any typos. I am too tired to proofread this missive. Write when you can. Tell me one thing from where you are that is meaningful to you. I'll write again next week. Love, Anna.